What's up?
How are you?
All right.
All right.
All right.
For those of you that don't know, this is Neville Wisdom. He's well known as a clothing designer. On the internet, there's a lot about you, asking questions about you as a designer. I've known you now for some time, and I feel like I know you a lot more than a designer, right? You have a lot
Right.
of facets to you.
So, yeah, I guess over the years, I think most of the focus has been about like design. That's usually how people know about me. I think with us it's different because we kind of met in a different time in my life as well. I definitely uh, have departed from fashion design in not in the sense of like I am not a fashion designer anymore, but I haven't had as much time as I would typically dedicate to it in the past. And uh, interesting in interestingly enough, I don't think it's like interfere with me as a clothing designer. I think I still can be as efficient as I was, even though I was doing a lot more time in the industry because of also where my headspace is. Right now, um, a lot of what I want to do has to involve being outside. Like I spend a lot of time indoors, like creating. I would lose track of time sometimes in my studio for weeks, hours, just like going really early, come out really late, like back to back. Like I can't. Like now I wanna see the sun possibly come up in the mornings and most of the time set in the evenings, and that's kind of like where my focus is lately. I would say I am more of a designer than I was prior to the designer that I was before. Because I had like a lot of limitations, even though I didn't realize I had them. And even though I thought I was like a pretty good designer, I feel like I'm so much better now because I am allowing myself to really kind of like emerge myself into being a creative,
Mm.
as opposed to uh, trying to make a business work and being the designer for that business was kind of like a little bit, I'd say,
It's a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It can be a lot for sure.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's good in in every sense of things that I do. I'm always super appreciative of what I've been able to accomplish. But when I look at it, it can always be so much better if the mind is right.
Mm.
Like mentally, if we're there, then and you can really like appreciate it, then it works out so much better. And right now, I'm just really having the time of my life.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like the corny saying of like if you let it like love it, let it go.
Right.
Like you kind of moved on in certain ways, but it allowed you the creative freedom to come back and do it however you want,
Right.
right?
Which is what you always want as an artist.
Yeah.
As an artist, you don't ever want to have limitations as to what it is that you want to do, like when it comes to like your art or
Yeah.
whatever it is that you consider your art. It's like usually it's an interpretation of what your thought process is. And, you want to explore that, and that is exciting. And there's always kind of like this limitation because like there's the idea of like the possibility of being able to like be able to pay your bills or so I guess maybe
Yeah.
some of it has to do with like a big part of it is like money is like it can be so damaging, like the focus of money and what we think we need money for, I think is our biggest like issue, like if we really just really focus on what it is that we want to be, then I feel like whatever it is, the money will kind of like we'll be able to afford that. And
Yeah.
with what's happening in the world, I mean, like it's like, especially now more than ever, like there's all these wars. People are fighting like it's senseless. I mean, it's like I don't even know why people can't just be like get along anymore anyway, And like for me, it's just like I just want to like be very conscious of how grateful it is to have a life and not so much just focus on what it is that I do or
Yeah.
like a
Like what
symbol
you
or
are.
what I am or
Yeah.
because I'm searching, like I'm constantly trying to find like these days I'm like fixing motors, like I'm like I spend most of my days like working on outboards and inboards and like boats and stuff like that and
It's almost like you get to live a whole nother life.
oh, no, it's definitely like I've always like now I do a little bit of woodwork here. I do a little bit of restoration. I'm doing like I'm doing like almost I, I mean everything kind of like evolves around who I am where the fashion business was always about consciousness. There was always a consciousness around how we made clothes and who we were as individuals. And now I'm like getting like old abandoned boats that people don't like anymore, and I'm like fixing them up and like driving them around and having like a blast. So,
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like your consciousness, I mean, eco-friendly consciousness for sure is
Oh
never
yeah.
never gonna die.
Right.
Ever, ever,
That's
ever.
always yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I
Like I painted a boat last summer. Like I painted a boat. Like
yeah.
like I sanded and bondoed and like fillered and like fiberglassed and like crazy stuff, like just and it's just like super exciting, like
Yeah.
I do some upholstering and all kinds of stuff. They-
Yeah, I think it goes to show that like you literally can be whatever you want.
as society teaches us to like always be like about work, like that's it's never really about like the value of life to an individual. It's almost kind of like always from the the uh the eyes of someone else, whether it be your parents or your peers or your partner or what it is. There's always somebody trying to tell you what it is that you should be doing.
Yeah. I
There's
was
a lot
thinking
of
about that
influence.
today.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about peer pressure, and then, but most of the times they talk about bullying and all of that stuff. But it's like, if you really look into it, I mean, it's like really, like a lot of times there's a lot of peer pressure from people who shouldn't be giving you any kind of pressure whatsoever,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, I think it's no one's, everybody has an opinion that they can always be willing to share. But if you really think about life and how um, everyone is unique, everyone is a unique person that is not, no one is exactly the same. So that means that like principles wouldn't even apply to one person versus the other. So the
Right.
chances of something working because somebody thinks that it worked for them is really kind of like crazy in the first place when you think about it. Like, a lot of like what I do in terms of like I don't know, I wouldn't call it so much meditation, but I guess it is kind of meditation where I really like just sit down and take the time to look at it. It's like what am I doing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like why did that matter? You know,
Yeah, it's
why
like
did
the
I
value,
yeah,
but the value is just what you make of it, you know? It's
exactly
like
most
we
of the time.
all have
Yeah,
the ability to value or
yeah,
not value something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, what I was thinking about today was that, and it's like we're following in like this rule book, right? Like a lot of people, not everyone maybe, and you're definitely an exception. But like who the fuck made that up? Right? Like, who is making this up? And like you're saying, if we're all so unique, then how is one rule gonna apply,
right,
to all or even just two people?
right.
Like, it's everyone is just so independent from one another, for sure.
I can definitely like share my experience with the hopes that something from my experience might have some learning aspect to someone,
Yeah.
but I don't ever want to like have an opinion in terms of like or a strong opinion about I can't be sure. Um, I really just really and today is like beautiful like fall day and it's a little colder than I like. So it's still pretty down
Yeah.
there.
It's nice to be outside regardless and
All time.
enjoy a little fresh air. And I know you wore that sweatshirt for a reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're
That's the
preaching some good
message.
things. Yeah. Love, find some peace for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Internally. I think that's so important. And it really does reflect externally
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I try to like I don't try. I really like um spend time to think about things that affect me. Like I want to, know that like I am aware of the effects that like things might have on me. And then I really like to look at it and see if it really should even affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
Why did I think that that was like so important? And
Yeah.
like, I've overcome so much stuff in my life that's still so like mediocre to a lot of people who have been through so much worse, and I shouldn't even talk about my life as it being difficult, because I've just been like blessed to be able to have health and strength to this point of my life, and now I'm like really having a really difficult
I love that. Yeah. I think you're able to see it that way through a lot of practice of gratitude, though, you
time.
know?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's so beautiful.
Like gratitude is everything. I mean, we all have just one person, everybody has a different experience in terms of like what their like situation was, or is. And so when you compare people a lot of times, it doesn't mean that the person who seems like they're more fortunate any less likely to not have struggles.
Right.
Um,
Or they might appear more fortunate on paper, but like
right.
in their,
Well,
brain or heart, they might not be so rich.
absolutely, absolutely. And I just think that like society and government and you know uh, control is really poisoning to the existence of mankind, if that is even like culture to say anymore. Like humans, like I don't even know how to speak on
No,
the subject.
I
You
think
know,
that's like an amazing way to put it, honestly. In the most like broad way.
like
It's like
beans, whatever
beans, us beans floating
beans.
around. Yeah.
Beans.
What are you up to for the rest of the day? Anything interesting that Neville's gonna be
I probably have to
exploring?
go to dinner some point. I think I have dinner plans, and I wanted to take a boat trailer down to my friend to do some for him to teach me how to do some welding.
Oh,
So
cool.
he's gonna teach me a little bit of welding. I haven't I haven't tried it since I was in high school, when I was 16. So I'm also uh, working on a boat captain's license. So every morning I get up, I do a couple of like,
Yeah, you said you were studying earlier.
yeah, I'm doing a six pack, like so I can um drive boats, like like up to 60 foot
Oh,
boats
wow.
and stuff like that. Yeah, wherever I go, boating is become a great interest in my life. My brother was the one who first introduced me to it in the Cayman Islands when I went to go visit him in 2000. Ever since then, I've never been able to like stay away from them.
They
And
can be
yeah,
definitely addicting for
and then
sure.
COVID accelerated that because we were just like kind of like chilling out. So bo- the boating community grew quite a bit. Uh, I also want to learn how to possibly weld aluminum. tick welding, tick welding. Yeah. So
Very cool.
I'm just like learning all kinds of things that I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. School of Hard Knocks is my favorite. YouTube.
Well, you're a very multifaceted human being, and I think that is such an important thing because I think we all are, and we don't really like shed a lot of light on that, you know? I respect and appreciate what you are doing, and your lack of limits towards learning is very inspiring for sure. And it goes to show that you literally can do anything. Like not just you, but
Right, right.
like anybody. We learn, the only limits we have is what our own brains create, literally.
No, for sure. That is definitely for sure. Like we create so much limitations for ourselves sometimes that we're not even like aware of.
Yeah.
But it's not even like it's just kind of like it's almost kind of like a human nature because it's not a human nature. It's like a learned human nature. And
Yeah.
almost like try to want to go back to like a child who is like sees the fire and wants to touch it, you know, but gets burned, and then knows that,
And then that's,
yeah,
it's like, that's it. Don't go near the fire. Don't play with it.
yeah,
Don't even touch the lighter.
yeah. I don't want to get hurt. Yeah, I try
Yeah.
not to get hurt, but yeah,
Yeah. I
um,
think humans do have a lot of fear, like
yeah,
pushed, whether it be like what you were saying with society, peer pressure, the government. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but
I just
there's a lot of fear.
fail.
Fear of failure, yeah. Which is silly, because you're
Yeah,
failing by not even starting, literally,
you're right. Exactly.
at all.
That
But
was
yeah,
profound.
that. All right. Well, Nev, I really appreciate you being here and talking to me today.
I
Any last words, or how are you feeling?
feel like we should just go out there and just get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.